Here we are again, happy as can be. All good friends and jolly good company.
All stood at the entrance to the wooden bridge over at the top of the ramparts, but unfortunately it's closed, and the grass hasn't been cut for ages either. So
we're coming back with a mower, with a lawnmower to mow the grass.
So we are in the French town of Parthenay, and this is the castle remains. Behind the camera there in front of us would have been the moat, and to our right would have been the castle walls. Behind us, down the hill, is the medieval village that we showed you 2 blogs ago.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, you see.
This is Parthenay medieval village. From what we can read from the signs, it looks like it dates back to the 13th century.
Which is 1250 odd.
Mm-hmm.
The year 1250 odd. The buildings down in the village themselves are of various ages, but whenever they have been restored or added onto, everything has been done in keeping with the original design of the place. It's quite extraordinary.
So if you look at the buildings, in the medieval times, people were taxed on the amount of floor space they had. So that is why the buildings have subsequently larger upper floors. So then it wasn't going to increase the tax on the building. All of those buildings look like they have still got some of the original timbers, and they would have been wattle and daub. They have been restored with plaster, but in a traditional way, so it hasn't lost the authentic look of the buildings.
As you'll see in some of the photos that we will have posted with this recording.
This is the open air pool at Swansea. Now, it is mainly there to serve the campsite nearby, and it's only open in the summer. The disadvantage of it is there is no sunshade, even if you are sitting beside the pool, and that means that the strong, hot sun here gives you a real danger of getting sunburnt, so we had to slap on the sun cream. Sadly, I forgot to bring my rash vest. The advantage is that even though the water is 27 degrees, it was still relatively refreshing, even when the day was 38 degrees.
The quality of the amenities is pretty
basic
compared with back at home. The pool looked quite dirty, didn't it? Really?
It did, yeah. Maintained by the local council, relatively cheap, just a couple of euros to get in. So I suppose, got to expect something basic for that price.
It didn't taste like too many people have peed in it anyway.
We've lived here for 6 years.
This is my dad, Gary.
This is my daughter, Melanie.
Is Judy, his wife. How long have you lived here?
6 years, I've told
6
you
years
already.
we have, yes.
doesn't pay attention.
And how far away from Parthenay do you live?
Oh,
10
15
miles.
kilometres.
10 miles.
Mhm.
Is it?
And how's your French going?
It's going all right. I haven't done it in the last 2 weeks while I've been here, so I'll have to get back in the groove.
Alrighty.
Art starts next week, the
Yeah.
week after next,
Yeah, does it?
and
Then you're going back to the,
band starts
as
as
well.
well.
yeah.
And that's about it, I suppose. Well, next Tuesday we'll have the gathering of the clans as normal on Tuesday morning at the, at the Zank. Market Day.
Lazank is the cafe that we have featured briefly in a few videos. You can go to Lazank and post a letter, buy your cigarettes, do the lottery, get a beer, have a coffee, buy your lunch and your dinner, and go to a nightclub, all in the same building.
That sounds a bit OTT, to be honest.
But true.
We love living in France, and particularly here. We've been here now, 6 years, and it has been fantastic.
And we've absolutely loved visiting you guys here in
Sure
France.
has.
You guys, we aren't guys, we are.
No, we're not guys. We're a guy and a doll.
Oh,
And the French have been really, really receptive, very helpful.
Very friendly.
Yes, they have indeed.
and so have these two.
Yeah, and so has the weather. It's
Within our
been
nature.
so hot, and today it's been really rained hard. It doesn't look as though
Yeah,
it's
it's been sort of
rained here, does it?
37, 38 degrees. The weather did break this morning. It's a bit more windy and rainy, which is not necessarily a bad thing, to be honest, looking at how brown the grass is around here.
And it's only about 20 degrees right now.
Yeah, so we've gone down from 37 to maybe 23.
Yeah.
Pretty chilly, that's why Judy's got her coat on.
Still pretty warm compared to New Zealand standards. So.
Indeed. One of the things that's been really cool about this trip to France this time is all the people that we've met and made friends with that we didn't even know.
Yep, without a doubt.
So that we mentioned in the last video having met Jean-Luc and his family because I was in my wheelchair and so was he. But since then, we were invited round to their house for an aperitif and some drinks.
We had an absolutely fantastic time. The hospitality they showed towards us was absolutely amazing. And even Gary and Judy felt particularly welcome. In fact, so much so they invited them back to their house for return aperitifs.
Yeah, so they came to see us a few days ago. And what's been real nice is that when we first met them, they'd never heard of Google Translate. And by the time we said goodbye after the second get-together, they all had Google Translate. And Jean-Luc, who was afraid to speak into a phone to begin with, was asking me for the phone so he could talk to me.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. I feel like we've potentially made lifelong friends there. We will definitely be back and we'll definitely be seeing them again.
And they can speak more English and we can speak more French than we did when we first met them, I'd say.
Oui.
The next group of people that we met, as a result of that fete at the castle, was Suzette and her husband. And she runs the charity that I will talk about in my next blog. We met her for a coffee at Leclerc on the day that it was 38 degrees because the coffee shop in Leclerc had aircon.
Yes, David, wasn't it? David and Suzette. And they were both fantastic to catch up with again outside of the environment of where we met them, and we were all able to just spend a bit of time getting to know each other and just
talking about cultural differences and what it was like for them moving to France and things like that.
Yeah.
And then the last group of people I want to mention is Dave and Hannah and Sue and
Glenn, yes.
They were friends of my dad and Judy's, and they had met in this local supermarket because David and Hannah had just moved to France and couldn't really speak too much French. We went with them to Panda Wok.
Panda Wok's a Chinese restaurant that has, you basically, you turn up, you pay so much per head, but you have everything there on tap, from beer to soft drinks to anything you could imagine to eat.
Yeah, so it was one price and all you can eat and all you can drink, which is something I've never seen before. Although the food in Panda Wok was sort of the commercial side of Chinese food, but still, it was really nice. And I don't think, despite the fact we had beer on tap as to our heart's content, I don't think we drank too much of it at all, really, did we?
And I think one of the best parts was the personality that Panda Wok put into each and every party that was having a birthday, and how the staff got up and individually said happy birthday.
Via a funny little robot that brought a cake to you that was this big.
And sang happy birthday
in about 4 different languages.
Yeah.
So yes, it's been absolutely fab. We've had a great time and we can't wait to come back.